Welcome back to another episode of STL Real Estate Roundtable. I'm your host, Jaden Barr, CEO and team leader of Keller Williams Realty Chesterfield. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. Brian Miller. Brian, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for getting me out of the holiday hibernation.
Let's go. Welcome to 2026.
Yeah.
I start off every episode the same way, which is what got you started in a career in real estate?
Well, I got kind of thrown into it at a young age, so more or less on the construction side of things. So my mom bought a house. It was actually my great-grandma's house that she wanted to flip after my grandma passed away. Bought it in 2006, 2007. Held on to it for too long. I got kind of burned by a contractor. Then the market crash happened. That house went from being worth, whatever it was before the crash, maybe 250 as is, to 175, 150, whatever it was back in those days. Mm-hmm. And just due to some health issues my mom was having at the time, I had to kind of step into the role of financing, or being the person that handled all the finances and stuff like that. And she had bought that house with a loan, and she used a HELOC on her own house to pay the mortgage and all the construction stuff like that needed to happen on my grandma's house. After kind of some of the health stuff that recited, I was writing checks for the house and was like, all right, we need to kind of focus on getting rid of this house. And so I kind of stepped into like a general contracting role over there with the help of my uncle. His friend, Joe Mama, that was over there every single day, just helping us do the construction and the rehab. Finally got, spent probably three or 4 months over there working, 5 to 7 days a week, 8 to 12-hour days, really getting the nuts and bolts and getting my hands dirty and stuff like that. And then we wound up getting the house listed, sold with our agent at the time, who was really instrumental in kind of getting me into this. Anna Randa with Keller Williams, give her a shout out there. But yeah, so she was really instrumental in that. And we actually wound up selling the house with the first time home buyer credit that they had at the time. And I think we had 1 month left of like mortgage payment, like when we sold the house. So that was we were blessed to get that off our books and off our hands. So from there, kind of helped another family member in a similar situation with general contracting. Did a couple of flips myself while I was working a full-time job, and then decided to get out of that full-time job, which didn't really like all that well. Decided to get my license. Met with Ann a couple of times and asked her, what the next steps were. She kind of guided me through that, and then got my license in 2016.
Okay. So that was 2016 when you got licensed?
Yeah, 2016 is when I got my license, and then I'd say my mom's flip house, that was in 2009.
Okay.
So a little bit of a gap. Long there.
Long gap there.
Yeah, it was more, like I said, just kind of using the skills that I learned and just kind of doing like odd jobs, like after I left my full-time job, and then doing the flips and stuff like that. Yeah. And then just was like, want to give this real estate a try. And I had the background, like construction knowledge, that I thought I could bring into the transactions to help clients make good decisions, that I know a lot of agents kind of struggle with sometimes because you don't have that background, and looking through 50 pages of an inspection report and you're like, what is a sewer lateral? How does this connect? What is all this stuff? So just kind of bringing in like that knowledge and calmness into a contract for clients, especially that are making a big decision.
Yeah. How much things cost too, especially that's probably been something you've had to adjust in your mind over the years of like,
my gosh,
oh, this used to cost.
Yeah. And then it's like, I know what it costs me to do. Like I can just go to the hardware store and pick up the supplies, but then you also got to charge, then you to a contractor, they have to make a living and they have insurance and all that kind of stuff and whatever they want to make on top of the actual cost of doing the job.
Yeah. I think Rachel and I have talked about it. We're going to encourage our kids to explore a career in a trade.
Absolutely.
Because, oh my goodness, like they're going to be able to charge whatever they want. And, and the years to come.
With AI, you don't know what the future is going to bring. So, I mean, like they're not going to probably get rid of plumbers, electricians and stuff like that in the near future. So hopefully that should be a secure job for the next generation.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So take me through kind of the career growth from the day you got licensed to kind of where you're at now.
Yeah, good question. So the first year that I was an agent was brutal. I think on my taxes that year, I showed that I made like less than 10 grand or something like that my first year, but I was doing it off and on. I also owned a party bus company at the time. So
No way.
yeah.
Okay. I did not know this about you.
Yeah. So I owned a party bus company at the time, and that was a big part of my day to day, just making sure the buses were up and running, cleaned. They were going out for different events and stuff like that. Was also still doing like subcontract work, maintenance type stuff for people and painting and all that kind of stuff. And then just realized I needed to get a career versus a job kind of a thing. And the party bus business we were trying to start to phase out. It just wasn't going the way that we had originally had planned. It wasn't the easy money that we thought it was going to be. So I was kind of, it was kind of a part-time, real estate was kind of a part-time thing at that point.
Yeah.
Started at Keller Williams there with a team, and then kind of decided that I wanted to work potentially with more investors, or at least get into in the investment space.
Yeah.
So I met my current broker at a meetup that he had. Just kind of went around the room and met with, or there's other people there. Everybody kind of goes around what their experience is and where they're at with their real estate. And I just said, my name's Brian Miller. I'm a newly licensed agent. Got a construction background, looking to get some, more knowledge about investment properties, flips, and things like that. And he was like, yeah, well, actually, I'm looking to bring on an agent to my brokerage, and you might be a good fit. So we met a couple times and joined his brokerage, I think in 2017, I would say. I think 2017. Dates are a little foggy. But yeah, somewhere I think November 2016, 2017 was when I joined him. And then the first couple years again, first year or two, again, business picked up. The knowledge was overwhelming because not only was I still trying to learn how to do the contract side of things, but I was also learning the nuances of doing investment properties with leases. And then also learning how to navigate, again, inspection reports on 100-year-old buildings that have 4 of everything, 4 kitchens, 4 bathrooms, 4 water heaters, all of the above, flat roofs, tuck pointing, foundation issues, sewer lateral. So it was overwhelming to kind of come up, or to figure all that stuff out in the beginning. So a lot of days were pulling my hair out. But luckily I had my broker, who was just a team of him and I at the time. Yeah. And he runs a construction company and a property management company. So I definitely had the back team, that I could reach out to. Support team, that I could reach out to. So, cool. Yeah.
So what's the biggest difference between working with investors versus just, your run-of-the-mill buyer or seller?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say with investors, there's a lot less emotion involved. They're just looking at it from do the numbers make sense?
Yeah.
Perspective. They're not looking to live at the property unless they're house hacking. And then again, if they're looking to house hack, we just want to make sure that it meets their minimum criteria, numbers of bedrooms, location isn't in a war zone. South City can be hit or miss in certain areas. So that's where a lot of people do their house hacking with multifamilies. So just being able to guide them to the right streets and stuff like that. And then just making sure that you walk the property and try to point out some of the stuff that might come up in an inspection report. So that way there's not as many surprises.
Yeah.
That was, I would say, the learning curve the first, 2 years that I was walking those properties. Because once you start walking enough, you kind of understand, but it takes a while to fully get a grasp. And then the time. So my days are generally, 9 to 5. I'll do some work in the evenings doing paperwork and stuff like that. But I'm usually showing properties on my time, not doing nights and weekends unless it's a necessity. I would say that's probably the biggest difference. And then also with investors, they probably want to buy or sell multiple properties within the same year, versus a home buyer. Well, the average is
one every 7 years.
Sure, exactly. So I'd say that's the biggest difference. Price point's also a big difference too. So investment properties probably going to be in the lower price range. I mean, I think we just sold one for what was it, like 60,000 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to do more of those deals in order to get a healthy end of the year paycheck. But if you do enough volume,
Yeah,
it all pans out. So it's
sure.
just kind of a difference.
For sure. What do you think have been like the keys to your success over the years and the keys to, your business growth that you've experienced?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say showing up, being diligent, protecting your client's best interest. I would say that most of my client base is referrals. So I don't do a whole lot of advertising, very limited social media presence, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. Because most of the time, if I'm doing 50 transactions a year, it's really hard to keep up with all of the other business stuff. So unfortunately, I know I'm working like on my business working in my business, not on it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's one of the drawbacks of it. Sorry, what was your question again? Or the original question?
It was, what's been the keys to your success?
Keys to the success. Sorry. So I would say the keys is really, just being a good advocate for my clients and like being a person that they feel comfortable referring one of their friends, family members that wants to get into the investment space. And I do residential, regular residential sales as well.
Yeah.
It's not a big percentage of my business. I would say that there are times where it is a little bit easier to do those sales than it is on the investment side, depending on, the age of the property, tenants and things like that. That can always kind of play a factor into it. But I think it's really just showing up, being diligent, being a problem solver, I would say is like the biggest thing, because there's always going to be problems that come up in real estate. And having enough experience, I mean, again, been doing it for 10 years. I've seen a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Always learning stuff though on every single transaction, and
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that there's always going to be something new. But yeah, I think being like calm, confident with your clients and just saying like, hey, this is how we're going to solve this problem. And I think that instills confidence in your clients that like they want to refer you out to other people and feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I think building trust is a huge thing. And,
Yeah.
you talked about like if you're working with investors, they're planning on buying multiple investment properties. So if you
Right.
do a great job of servicing them the first time around, then they have no reason to look elsewhere, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you can kind of earn a client for life and multiple transactions.
Right. And the goal is eventually if they want to cash out or sell for whatever reason, they'll come back to you, and look for you to sell. So, I mean, yeah, it's a big part of it.
So I think the investing topic is a huge one, especially with real estate agents. I think a lot of it's almost insane to me how many agents don't actively invest in real estate.
Right.
We have access to so much information, the inventory, everything that's on the market. And it almost feels like cheating at times, right? How much access we have to just inventory that's out there. And yet so few actively invest in real estate. So talk to me about kind of your investing journey and kind of what that's looked like over the years.
Yeah. So my long-term buy and holds that I have is I own 2 duplexes in Kirkwood. Bought those at the same time. They were actually on market and went on and off market. I remember the day that they came on the market, and it was just like a crappy photo that the agent put out there, and it was like it was raining outside, and it was just the front. And I was like, these are in Kirkwood, and they're this price. I was like, I have to own these.
Mm-hmm.
And I was maybe 2 years. Yeah, I was 2 years into like my real estate investment agent portion of it, and just needed to figure out the financing portion on how to like acquire these, because you have to have the down payment, and just trying to navigate through that. So they came on and off market a few times. I actually wound up working with that listing agent on another deal, 2 other deals for a buyer. And she's like, hey, do you happen to have anybody for these properties? Because they're about to come back on the market. And I was like, send me the inspection.
I really want them.
Yeah. I was like, do you have the inspection report? She's like, yeah, I have them. I can send them to you and we can kind of work through like whatever's on there. So I was like, yeah, give me some time to figure out the financing portion of it. And let me look through the inspection reports. And I looked through them. I mean, there were some bumps and bruises there for sure. But I ran the numbers probably 100 times. and just trying to make sure that like everything was accurate.
safe.
I was like, hey, how much was that MSD bill? You told me it was 50, but you're showing 60. Like, can you update me that? Just trying to make sure that everything kind of penciled out. And so yeah, we wound up getting them under contract, got some credits, and then wound up closing both of them in October of 2018. And then have kind of, I was over there swinging a hammer, doing stuff when I first bought them, and then probably for the first couple of years where the cash flow wasn't great. Did the rehab, I think, on 2 of the units myself. Again, cash flow started getting a little bit better. Was able to pay a contractor to do the last unit last year. Was able to increase the rents from 700 to 1350. With improving those units. So, so now the cash flow over there is really nice.
There we go.
And the properties, we bought them pre-COVID. So we had that COVID bump that really increased the prices on properties over there. So we've got those 4 units. And then in 2021, we kind of did a burr on a 3-family. Again, I had helped a client buy the property. He was looking to sell it off market. I pitched the property to a couple clients of mine to see if they were interested in it, but they weren't interested in buying something that they needed to put work into. And they weren't interested in buying the property for a sales price, then putting money into it, and then leaving that money in the deal. So I looked at it as like, well, if I could buy it for this, put this into it, here's what I think the property will appraise at. Yes, I'm going to leave some money in the deal, but I'm getting $40,000 worth of equity. And now I'm going to have like a really good cash flowing property in like Northampton, which is a awesome neighborhood in South City. So yeah, we still have that one, still have the same tenant, that I bought, that he was there when I bought it. And I think he was there when my tenants bought it, or no, my clients put him in there.
Okay.
But yeah, he's been great. So yeah, now we own that one. It was in my wife's name. Like she's been there like once or twice.
That's awesome.
Because she had the W-2.
Yeah, she had a W-2 job.
Yeah. So it's a little bit
one of our
easier.
rentals is in my wife's name too.
Exactly. So yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have the 7 units. I manage those myself. It's kind of a full-time, or it's more of a part-time job kind of a thing. Just making sure rent's collected and you have tenant issues. I've got a tenant issue going
light bulbs out.
Yeah, I don't deal with the light bulbs.
Yeah.
But last year was a rough year with a pipe burst in one of my tenants' units, and come to find out she hadn't left her unit in a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
2 plumbers turned me down to do anything until it was all figured out.
Goodness.
It was bad.
Okay, don't tell those horror stories.
No.
I was just playing.
It isn't. Yeah, insurance paid for it. It was all good.
Good. There we go. So what have been some of, one, we're dads. Let's go.
Yeah.
What have been some of the challenges in kind of like balancing family and real estate and kind of like, being a present, dad at home and things like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we have two toddlers, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we work from home most of the time, and my kids are home like 90% of the time. So we do have some help during the week to help watch them, but yeah, it's a little challenging when you're in your home office and the kids are yelling and screaming upstairs, and you feel like you got to go up there and calm the situation down, help out, or like one's not napping and you got to go watch the other one while my daughter's trying to go down for a nap. I would say the biggest thing for me is like really at the end of the day, like I try to be done like at 5. Go upstairs because that's kind of like around when our kids eat dinner. It's when I eat dinner now. We go to restaurants. We go out at like 4:30.
Yeah, they're on the old people schedule.
Yeah. So that's kind of our lifestyle now. But it's really just trying to put the phone down, put it on silent, do not disturb, and just like having that one-on-one time with your kids. Because I will notice that the less that I'm present, the worse my kid's behavior is, or like our relationship starts to kind of drift off a little bit. My wife gets to put our kids down for bed. It's just the way things have kind of transformed. Like, it was kind of bouncing back and forth at one point in time, but now it's like she's putting them down. So she has that one-on-one time with them that I need to get back, during playtime, like at the end of the day or
Yeah.
afternoons. But the schedule I have is nice. It's flexible that we can kind of, my wife's off on Mondays. So like I'll try to clear my schedule on Mondays and we'll try to go to like the zoo or Grant's Farm, Magic House, stuff like that, I don't feel like I'm missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah. I think that's a tough thing for a lot of, high producing agents out there is, they built this business and maybe they built the business that they didn't even know was possible. And like, they're just, up to their eyeballs and all the things that they have to take care of on a regular basis. And then, we naturally as agents want to serve our clients at a really high level, but sometimes it's to the detriment of the people we care about most. Right.
For
and
sure.
so wanting to make sure that we set boundaries and, give time and attention when it's needed and where it's needed.
And to add to that, I'll say that like you can, like for me, I've kind of focused in on like the type of clients I want to attract. And sometimes when you throw those intentions out there, that's what you get back. And so I think when I have conversations with clients, I kind of tell them like up front, like, hey, family time is in the evening time with my kids. I'll work my butt off during the day to try and, serve you as best I can. In the evening time, like if, you need to call or, if you have a question, just email me and I'll get back to you when I can.
Yeah.
I really push people to email because like I feel like the appropriate response time on an email is like 24 hours, at least in a business day. Like if somebody emails you, on the weekend, might get back to them on like Monday or, or what have you. But I'd say email has been like a good way to like buffer some of that stuff out. So that way your phone's not going off with phone calls and text messages and stuff like that.
Yeah. I saw Ryan Serhant. He's got a Netflix series right now called Owning Manhattan.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like Selling Sunset, but I feel like it's much more like realistic, realistic real estate and what a day in life is like and things like that. And he talks about how the billionaire clients that he works with, they only do text.
Oh,
like
really?
they will not get on a phone call.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because they want to move fast. They want to move quickly.
Okay.
And then they also want everything in writing.
Yeah.
And so
that makes sense.
in terms of like professionalism and things like that, he's like, that's just something that I've observed.
Okay.
Is that these really, really successful people, they move quickly and they just want they want to be direct, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And so that kind of coincides with kind of what you're talking about there with like email and professionalism and things like that.
Yeah.
So what's kind of the vision for your business moving forward and maybe where you're looking to grow in 2026, any areas of your business that you're like, I could really improve in this area or take this to the next level?
Yeah. So I will say that I was talking with my broker about this today and we were talking about goals and stuff like that. And, the first thing that gave me the kind of a rundown on what to think about for today. I was like, man, I think like my number one goal is just to survive another year with 2 toddlers. Like that's really like my baseline goal.
I'm there with you, brother.
Baseline goal. And then everything else will kind of like fall into place. I think I always try to do as well as I did the year before, maybe a little bit better. I mean, I have a pretty good lifestyle. I'm not greedy. I don't need to be a multi-million-dollar a year earner or anything like that. So I think like I've built a pretty good business model that works with our family schedule. So again, just trying to keep with that same model, make kind of do what I did last year, maybe improve upon it a little bit more, maybe get a little bit more high dollar listings. Make more, work less kind of a thing. It's everyone's goal in life. I'd say that's one of them. And then, family wise, want to go on, 3 trips with our kids this year, spend more time with the kids. I mean, my son's going to be 4 in April. So
gosh, I remember whenever you all got home with him.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So it's like the time moves like really fast. Like the days are long, the years are short. And so really just trying to kind of refocus on like spending time with our kids like as much as possible. And like, I think if you have, again, kind of like your intentions and like your mindset, I think like the rest will kind of fall into place and what you want in your life will will come.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I don't know if it's in a book or where I heard it, but you get 18 summers with your kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, that hits hard.
Yeah. I think there was another one that was probably an Instagram thing, a feed thing, but it was like by age 12, your kids will have lived with you 75% of the time that they're going to live with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another like eye-opening thing, you know. I'm not sure if that statistic still reigns true with people living in their mom's basement until like they're 30,
Yeah, right.
or whatever.
Average home buyer is 30 years.
Like maybe we need to update these numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, and a lot of it was, and another one I saw last night was about, you know, how these years between like 1 and 5, you know, your kids are just going to change after that. And like some of the things that you do now, they're just not going to remember.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but it's your memory.
But it's your memory.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm living vicariously through my kids right now. I mean, like getting to take them on vacations and do things that like I didn't get to do as a kid. So I think just focus. And that's my number one focus right there. And then just let the rest kind of fall into place. Long term, you know, maybe get into more like advising roles, since I do own real rental property and have helped, you know, hundreds of clients buy rental properties and things like that. You know, I think there's a lot of agents that are really good at what they do, but maybe on like the back end advising on like how to run a rental property. Mm-hmm. I think that's maybe where some of the out of state buyers or even local buyers kind of get burned, where they're just not getting the good advice like after they buy the property. And that's why they sell within a year or 2 years and
then never buy another
property. Yeah, exactly.
Like real estate investing is terrible.
Right. So, I would say that probably, again, getting into more like an advisor coaching role, has always been something that's intrigued me to do. Yeah.
Cool. What's your favorite part about, you know, the career in real estate that you've had so far?
I would say the opportunity and the flexibility of it. Because I mean, real estate's really whatever you want to make of it. I mean, there's so many different avenues. It can be overwhelming, especially like when you're first starting out, because you see, especially now in the Instagram world that we live in, everybody's posting what they're doing to have success. You could be a wholesaler. You could be a multi-million-dollar real estate listing agent. You can do first-time home buyers. You can do note investing on all these different avenues that you can do, and it's great. And I think if you just focus on one thing, one or two avenues, and just kind of stay in your lane, I think that's really the best advice, because there is a lot of like outside noise that can distract you. But I think if you just kind of find your niche, stick the path, I think that's really what's enabled me to grow is just trying to just kind of stick to what I know. I mean, like, and grow in other areas, but, and then kind of incorporate that into your business, but not just trying to do like a complete 180 when you see, you know, an Instagram post.
Shiny objects.
Exactly. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. What's the saying? If you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Right.
Right. So finding your niche, and then, you know, whether that be your content that you put out or your marketing or what have you, like who you are is who you attract, and then like who you want to attract, like creating all your materials and things to attract that ideal client that you're looking for. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What's been the most impactful book or podcast that you've read or listened to that's kind of helped you grow personally and professionally?
Yeah. So with a couple of kids, I will say that Little Blue Truck is probably one of my favorite, one of my son's favorites.
There we go.
There's a lot of really good life lessons in Little Blue Truck. It's a good series. There's probably like 6 or 7. We have all of them.
There we go.
I've read them hundreds of times.
Llama, red pajama.
Yeah. What? Little Llama. Yeah.
If you give a mouse a cookie.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got right now on the Rolodex.
Tractor Ted's pretty popular in our house right now. My daughter loves Track Ted, is what she calls it. On a professional level, I would say Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Yep. I could say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Sounds like you've gotten that response before, but I'd say written by Napoleon Hill. It was an eye opener. Kind of talks to, you know, if you have like your end vision in sight, and have that as a goal, you set those intentions out there, it'll, you know, the opportunities will come your way. Yeah. and just not letting, outside noise kind of infiltrate your thoughts. Because that's really hard as an agent. I think especially as an agent, things come in waves. So you might have a down month and the next month is absolutely incredible.
For sure.
And then, when the phone's not ringing, some people just get a little disheartened and, start looking for a new job or different shiny object to kind of like run towards to try and get more leads or more business and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that was a good book. I read that, a couple years ago, pre kids. So my memory is not exact.
Yeah.
It's not
You got the
exactly
cliff
there.
notes.
I got
You got the
cliff
main
notes.
idea.
Yeah.
That's a great topic though. How do you handle those challenging moments? Cause we've all been there, like, real estate, career in real estate is not just like this, right?
Right.
And so you're going to have great months. You're going to have terrible months.
Yeah.
How do you handle kind of the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of working in this industry?
Yeah. My wife, talking with her and, it's just kind of my rock of, hey, it's kind of a slow month this month. We might need to scale back on, buying this and that. And then, she'll kind of bring me back down to earth and, be like, hey, you've got a long history of doing this. And
we've been here before.
It's a down month. And then the next month you've got, 5 new buyers or sellers that are, knocking on your door wanting to do something immediately. And so it's just really how it works. I think all agents kind of get in that unless you've got a awesome pipeline of just people constantly just wanting to use you. But yeah, I would say that. And then I've always wanted to do this. I have like a letter written in my head to myself that just is like, Brian, you're fine. Everything's going to be okay. You thought this exact same thing last year at this time.
Yeah.
And then look at what you did last year.
Right.
And then the year before that and the year before that. So I think I should probably just put that in writing somewhere. So that way I just have it instead of just having it in my head.
Have an email that it gets auto drafted to you every month.
Right. Yeah.
First of the month.
Right. You have a reminder from yourself to you. Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Cool. Anything else we should touch on?
I think we've covered it, but yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking what's your most valuable asset, which is your time.
Yeah.
And coming on the podcast. I know everybody watching and listening is going to get a ton of value from it. So I appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right.
I would have got here with flip flops and a tank top on. It's really nice outside.
I know, right? Let's go.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.